Sutosyo eva, Sutosyo eva, Anuratto eva, Sarva Siddhim Nibraya, Sarva Suchame, Siddhim Shreya Guru,
No.
Sarva Tathagata Vajrasattva Vajribhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tishtha Meva Sutosyo Meva Suposyo Meva Anuratto Sarva Siddhim Nibraya Sarva Karma Suchame Chitim Shreya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajrasattva Vajribhava Samaya Sattva. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tishtha Sutosyo Meva Suposyo Meva Anuratto Meva Sarva Siddhim Nibraya Sarva Karma Suchame Siddhim Shreya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajribhava Samaya Sattva. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tishtha Bhava Sutosyo Meva Suposyo Meva Anuratto Meva Sarva Siddhim Nibraya Sarva Karma Suchame Chitim Shreya Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajrasattva.
Where is that? Let's see if I can open it here.
Samaya Sattva.
I like the one, but oh no, not that one. See if I can find it.
Sutosyo Meva Suposyo Meva Anuratto Meva Sarva Siddhim Nibraya Sarva Karma Suchame
Can't find it.
Chitim Shreya.
Maybe it's in the other one. Maybe it's in here. It's in here.
Vajribhava Samaya Sattva. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva.
Hello, friends, enemies, brothers, strangers, sisters, mothers, kind mothers. I'm very late getting going. I just realized, oh, wait, I have a Saturday morning. Wake up and think clearly. And it's already 10:38. Oh my gosh. What happened? I can't remember.
That you're still alive.
Where's my...
Yes, why?
Where's my guitar string? Here's a guitar.
What? Sounds like you have some Buddhist monk chanting in the background.
Oh.
Oh, I see. From your television.
Did the other dude leave?
No, he's still here. It's just we're gonna jump from Jitsi over to Zoom, and then the three of us will be in Hyro.
Here's I don't know.
Oh, there's
If the
and that's a guitar string.
then he's gonna
My wife do that when you say the dude, or you're trying to.
the Japanese he pulls.
Oh, right. You may or may not have an issue. And do you think you detect?
He radiates peace at the moment. I want him to
right.
keep that. It's okay.
My wife is highly empathic, and
You're
she doesn't want you being infected by Hyro.
I don't want you to pull, dude.
Well, he's an adult. He can decide what to do.
Just
But
pull.
anyway, I'm in the
He's
unique
got
situation of
peace right
being
now,
both.
so.
It's up, yeah. It is after midnight. I don't know. Maybe
You
you
got
want to call it
peace
a
right now,
night,
dude.
spend time. Preserve.
After-
See, detect that much.
Where are you?
Yes.
When
Where
he
are you?
pushes peace.
Which one of us? I'm in the bedroom of our home up here in
I think he
North
was
Central
talking-
Florida.
Yeah.
But I'm participating in your video conference, Hyro. There we go. This is a very slow machine, but there's the link to Hyro's Zoom now in the chat.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to exit, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
catch you later.
Okay. Thanks for visiting.
Okay, hold on. Not you, Hyro. I'm going to stay with you for a little bit at least.
Oh. Oh, you're with someone.
I did a makeshift Jitsi chat. Are you currently streaming
No.
YouTube?
I have a guitar here.
You wanna share a song?
I was in peace before this.
I have a guitar here,
Why?
but
I'm gonna wreck my Saturdays.
And you've connected through a phone, so keep an eye on your incoming waiting room, because we may or may not have
If he's smart, he won't.
Hiroshi join us.
If he's smart, he
It's
won't.
after midnight there though, so he might call it a night.
oh,
Have you switched bedroom? Oh, you stayed overnight with your mom.
He does, because he's got peace right now.
Right. Yeah. Okay, let me my camera here.
I like him.
I know I like Hiroshi too. Hopefully we'll get to do this again tomorrow. Okay. Well, I only know of Hiroshi through Hyro because he came and joined. But we won't.
wow.
Yes.
You were talking to who?
Hiroshi.
Wow.
But then I left that video conference to come be with you in this video conference.
Wow. Oh, here it is. I dropped it. A guitar string.
I see it.
I think this one will work. Because I need a string right here. They're loose. I changed all the guitar strings, and this one it broke. So I had to find another one. I think it's the same kind for this string, the second string, the B string.
He doesn't randomly mark it.
He went under the bed. Your bed. I can shut the door to keep him in the room so you can quiet, peacefully enjoy your coffee.
Wow. Let's see. Oh, there's Stacy.
Giving you the bird.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for the bird. I like birds. Thank you.
No, that was my.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. I don't know if you caught that.
oh I
said
saw a doggy.
You want me to shut the door to keep them inside? Both of them? That way you can have a guaranteed bark free time.
Did the Japanese man come up?
No, not yet. He may call it a night though, because it was after midnight there, and he probably needs some sleep.
Oh, Hiroshi is joining us.
Oh, he is? He's joining us now.
Great Hiroshi. Mhm.
Hi, Jaro. Good morning.
Good morning, Hiroshi Satao. No hay nadie. No, uno, hay dos, tres, nadie.
Yeah. No hay
Something like
nadie.
that.
There's nobody in Spanish.
There's nobody.
No hay nadie.
Oh, there's nobody here. Oh,
So you playing the guitar?
there's a lot of bodies. Oh,
More than 8 billion of them.
trying to put a new string on this guitar. Oh, where are you, Hiroshi? You're in Tokyo,
Near Tokyo.
near Tokyo.
Yeah, 90 minutes train ride to Tokyo.
Nice.
You take a train ride
I-
to Tokyo,
Not
and do
even,
you work in or teach in Tokyo?
yeah,
now is that bullet train or a traditional line?
just a train.
Just a train, okay.
Yep.
Might we know what direction from Tokyo the city center?
Oh, I think it's north. You go up north from Tokyo to my place.
Okay. Mountains?
There's no mountains.
No mountains, okay.
Mhm. Mm.
Is that your background? Is that from a local park or?
Oh, this is a park in Tokyo.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay.
There's a picture. Yeah.
Oh, maybe Joel will show up, unless he went to another meeting because I started late. Maybe he goes to a meeting at 10, or
Yeah,
maybe it's at
30. He often does go to the Toronto Humanist Association by then.
hmm,
So, Jero,
I
you gonna
forgot.
sing a song?
I
Yeah.
forgot it was Saturday.
Oh, is
For
that?
some
And you had your phones off.
I had my phone shut off. Maybe it would have alarmed me or something to wake up and think clearly.
I attempted, but with the alarm shut off, I couldn't even so much as leave you a voicemail. That's how unavailable you were.
I will turn. Oops. I will turn the camera over so you can see that that I have a face of sorts and I have hair. I cut it recently with looking at the mirror. Maybe I should get it done professionally somewhere.
How's your
You
week been,
haven't
Hyro?
shaved.
How's what?
How's your week been?
Oh, wow, my week. Oh, I got to change diapers for my mother.
Oh,
Well,
that's an experience.
help my Araceli who takes care of her. She's the caregiver of 8 years, and now my mother was was in hospice at home, but now they're not coming anymore.
Really?
That's good. They try to give her morphine every 3 hours, but we don't give them that much. Maybe at once at night and maybe as needed in the day.
Wow.
And one time we gave her Laura lorazepam or something like that. That's to
That stuff's addictive.
make her tranquil, and that kept her knocked out for a whole seemed like 2 days or so.
Gracious.
She stays kind of knocked out or like this, and we try to wake her up to feed her, or whenever whenever we wake her up, she complains.
Oh, right.
Oh, say hello. Oh, it's like this. Hola, diga aló, aló. Diga aló, aló, hola, hola.
Hola, mommy.
Hola.
Hola. Or maybe it's like this. Hola. Oh, mire, mire, mire. Ahí está Rami. Oh, 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 Rami. And Hiroshi. Saludes desde Japón. Tokio, Japón.
Yeah, Japón. Desde Japón.
Baterías. De las más delgaditas. ¿Será? Ujú, ujú. Oh, so how is North Florida?
Lovely. I took Ezekiel to the Taylor County Sports Complex Thursday, and the kids are so bright and friendly, and the adults are too. They even offered to help teach my son American style football, but he doesn't have the comprehension or direction flowing skills. So they let us use one of the footballs, and we practiced, and I tried to explain the rules to him. It takes a while for him to comprehend things, to understand. But once he catches on, he becomes a natural. It just a
Wow.
learning curve
What
initially.
kind?
And then
kind
yesterday
of-
we went to Live Oak, which is not as far as Lake City, but it is in that direction.
What kind of football?
American style football.
American style football. What is that?
You know, it's what we call football here in America, with the brown ball.
Oh,
It's the point,
oh, okay.
as opposed
You
to
have to wear all that. Does he have to wear all that kind of equipment for protection?
they had some of that out there, but they were doing mostly burpees, which is a physical exercise. They had like a rope set up, and the kids were doing different. But no, we just happened to be there while some kids were training, or while some adults were training some kids on how to become football.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
4 soccer fields and 6 baseball diamonds, and then a nature trail and a couple of sinkholes
Hmm.
uh, and a
Yeah.
wooded river that leads up to them.
Hmm.
Cypress Dome. It's really and ancient trees, hundreds of years old. It's beautiful up here.
100 years old trees.
Hundreds of years old trees.
Hundreds of years old trees.
I'm going to open up some.
Wow.
I don't have any old ones outside of our window here. I might be able
And
to show one that's just at least a couple of.
if I stand like a tree, maybe I can live 100 years old too.
I think there's a birch outside of our window, and there's an oak there. But let me see.
Hmm. Look at this.
There's a really long branch. But
Look at
out of our front yard in the corner is one that's probably older than the United States, easily. Maybe even was a sapling when Columbus was discovering the continent or the Americas.
hmm. There's hundreds of years old trees in your backyard.
Not in the back. Well, maybe one of them is, but in the front yard in the northwest corner, there's one that's at least 3 or 4 centuries old,
Wow.
at least.
Oh. No. These require double A's
Oh,
too. Wow.
you gonna froth your coffee?
Yes, and to mix there's a powder called thickener.
Thickener.
So you add it to liquids to make them thicker.
And what is the point of that?
That when giving to my mother, then she will swallow it without danger of it going into the lungs. Mhm.
Oh, I see.
Mhm. Maybe I forgot what's what's it called? Dysphagia? No, I don't know. Hmm. Hmm.
So she
This
has
might work.
her liquid in a sort of a jello form.
Yeah, or sort of like
Stomach instead of the lungs. That's interesting.
thick.
Makes sense, especially on the drugs that she's on.
Mm.
So they let you guys administer the morphine?
Yes, we 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 have a like a real thin mm, mm, it, what is it called? Yeah, what is that thing that
Syringe.
you
Syringe.
a syringe? Yes, uh, a real thin syringe, and she measures out. Boy, I forget the amount, 0.5 milligrams. Or something.
Is this the
The
person who comes from hospice?
minimum amount. Yes, and they provided us with those hospital beds that have controls to put all kinds of positions.
Right. Yeah, that helps so that she
You
doesn't
can keep
develop
her
legs.
in bed.
And how long has she been in the bed now?
Oh wow, it's been a week or so, and before that she was very anxious, and so the the nurses checked. Oh, before that, like a month ago, she had pneumonia and recovered that with antibiotics, and then suddenly she was with about 5 days very anxious and moving around and not able to sleep, and so we that maybe they suggested try morphine, and yep, that gave her some rest, but
Wow.
then it's kept her very dopey,
Right. Yeah. Natural
kind of,
concept of morphine.
and also
Probably
lorazepam.
equals
So
to
not
over China.
more lorazepam maybe, and just maybe morphine in the evening to make sure he doesn't move too much at night. But we still try to. Maybe we shouldn't even give her morphine at night either because we want to move her every 3 hours. They say 2 hours, but maybe we've moved her around once or twice at night, like, and then during the day, yeah, we move her positions, like
When you
from the
say move her around,
back to the
you're
side,
or
the
you're
other side.
picking her up and carrying her to another room.
But we keep her in the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, but she hasn't hasn't stood up since we got that hospital bed.
Mm.
So she's getting very thin and weak.
Yeah.
Very her massages and
Well,
move her legs around.
that's good.
Let's see.
So was it the pneumonia primarily that what caused her to go downhill?
Maybe, but she recovered okay. But then suddenly, maybe two 2 weeks ago, she was, or maybe 10 days ago, I forget. She was all the time with anxious, like moving uh her moving around all night,
But
and
were her words comprehensible?
complaining,
Okay.
and her words are slurry,
Well, now they would
and
be.
and now they're even more slurry or incomprehensible.
So what was she complaining about at the time before the morphine?
But but we couldn't tell where the pain was, or she she couldn't indicate where the pain's coming from. There's overall complaint. I mean,
Well, what was the specific word that she used?
the words were too slurry. More like, well, sometimes she would say "mama" or something like that, or "ay" or yeah, mumbling. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Oh, let's see. I don't know how come this thing doesn't. Maybe I stuck the batteries in backwards, or maybe those batteries were bad. Let's see.
Possibly. You have a tester?
Let's see. Where's the plus? Hmm. Hmm. I can't tell where the plus is. Hmm. Now maybe the part, the contacts aren't very good, or they came off.
Pin them back together or bump them out.
See, one end it looks like this.
So, yeah, yeah.
The other end looks like this.
Okay, is there a spring in there on one side?
There's no spring, so maybe the spring got unsprung.
Uh,
No, it couldn't have. It wouldn't have been opened.
Wait a moment,
So,
Hira, are you telling me you might have to use a fork?
oh. So, and I go like this. You go like this,
Mhm.
and you're actually in there. And oh, maybe I can. And I can't see any plus or minus symbols around there. Hmm. And you see any plus or minus symbols?
So once you add the thickener, could you just use a fork and agitate it physically?
Yeah, I guess that's what she's doing now. In the meantime, and is administering the food. Oh, it's it's um it's carrot juice.
Oh, nice.
Picking up. Hmm. 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 Oh, rico, rico, muy rico. Zanahoria, zanahoria. San Zanaoria. Zanahoria. Y con cuchara. Imagínate. Oh, mire, saludes a Rami. Say hello to Rami. Hola, Rami. Hola, Rami.
Hola.
Hello, Rami. Oh, she tried. See, she can hardly say anything correctly. Mumbling, but she's saying, but she tried to say hola or. Tiene, sí. Ahora. Ujú.
So
Interesting.
with the Orlando Stoics last night
Mhm.
in one of Stoic Den's Zooms, and we were discussing uh, the start of the 4-week series on the book of Ecclesiastes. And
Wow.
yes, yeah, it's the first biblical book Stoic Den's taken up. I think a woman by the name of Ethel suggested it. And she's a native Hebrew speaker, and several of the other people who were there were also know Hebrew. So
Wow.
very interesting discussion.
When are those?
Fridays for the next 3 Friday nights.
Oh,
Yes,
oh, I could have joined.
from
I did
7
have
Friday until
from,
8:30 p.m. Friday.
from
Uh,
7
yeah, which would be Saturday morning from 9 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. for the next
time,
5 days.
Tokyo time.
Yeah, yes. Japan time would be 9 in the morning until 10:30 in the morning.
Oh,
So it's
yes, is that the guy that said to everything, turn,
the song from the birds.
the
BYO.
sea, turn. Oh,
One of the concepts is how so much of it is it's like chasing the wind, or so many of men's pursuits, or hevel. Everything is hevel. Hevel is how we write it in English, not in the original Hebrew. But this idea that it's like a wisp or smoke. The end of the book, of course, is enjoy the good things from God and obey His commandments, and that is the entirety of your duty, O human.
huh?
But the speaker, well, you have the author, and then you also have the speaker, and the author is not the speaker. And the author isn't necessarily Solomon, but presents himself as Solomon or speaking on Solomon's behalf
Hmm.
in the majority of the work.
Hmm.
And it's a very sort of end of life perspective of everything, passing to the congregation is who it's addressed, to the people of Israel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I put the batteries in a battery tester,
Oh, nice.
like so,
Yes, you do have one.
and they're good. So
Oh,
maybe I have to try different,
you-
all the combinations of putting them in.
right.
Right.
It would only be what, 16? No.
So this way.
Is it only 4 combinations for 2 batteries?
Mhm. Maybe four.
Yeah,
Because
I think
now
there
in
are 4 ways to do it.
combination, I just flip them over. Let's see.
I'm wondering if there was originally a spring on one side, and
Oh,
the spring fell
it's
out. Oh, you did it.
working.
Congratulations. You solved the problem. I need to take my wife to the bathroom.
Yay. Hmm. Hiroshi, how
Hi.
are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wow. What are you doing these days?
Oh, reading books, going to work, teaching
What
English.
what books are you reading?
On hermeneutics. How do you pronounce?
Hermeneutics?
Yep.
Hmm, hermeneutics. I've heard that word
This is
before.
a book. It's Japanese translation though.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in Japanese?
Yeah, it's in Japanese.
Oh man. Wow. And it's in Japanese characters, kanji?
And yeah,
Wow.
Japanese characters. Yeah.
Maybe I'll learn that one day.
Oh,
And
that's good.
hermeneutics, let's see, hermeneutics. Hermen what is that? I forget. Maybe Rami knows what hermeneutics is.
I had to look it up. It's, I think, the study of it's contextual study, usually biblical works.
Yep.
Oh,
Now it's used
biblical
for
history?
studying literature
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you read a book and you want to know much more. You read a book and you want to know more about the book. You use the method of hermeneutics.
Oh, there's a method
Yeah,
to
it's kind of method to
profoundly.
deeply understand what the author wants to say.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Do they reference other books? Like if you're studying the Bhagavad Gita, do
Yeah,
you
maybe.
reference translations or and other commentaries? There's must be 300 translations of the Bhagavad Gita in English. Oh, I only have a few. There's As It Is by the ISKCON. That one's pretty popular and it's pretty authoritative. I'm studying the Bhagavad Gita. Let's see. Uh, I wonder if I should use hermeneutics or studying the Bhagavad Gita. Or
How many books are there in the book of the Gita?
the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, wow.
One section is about war and the duties involved.
Whoa. This one is the Nitya Chaitanya Yati. Hmm. And it starts off. Hmm. Each chapter of the Gita, it starts off. What does it say? An introduction? Hmm. Hmm. And then the translation, and then a commentary at the end of. Oh, the commentary is in a dialogue form, in a like a Q&A, question and answer, like the with a teacher and a student. And so questions and answers, like why does Arjuna put a volley of questions instead of putting them singly? Mhm.
That's why.
Then it answers. Mhm. And then there's definitions. These definitions are very cryptic. Please elaborate. The definition of Brahman, which is translated here as the absolute, has no parts. It is self-founded and is beyond the concept of time and space and all other relative notions. If the transformation of matter and the conservation of energy are brought under one common universal reference and correlated to all that is experienced in the alternating states of consciousness as well as that which transcends consciousness, that universal reference of a single immutable and unchanging homogeneous reality can be accepted as the general ground of all, and it can be called the absolute. could could the absolute be equivalent to the laws of physics? Or no? Maybe the laws of physics describe it.
Reading
No.
reading the Bhagavad Gita Wikipedia page, I'm thinking this is a wonderfully efficient tone in which to keep people studying based upon what I'm hearing, what I'm reading in terms of the topics covered and the way it's presented specifically.
Mm.
In a way,
Yes,
it
I.
sort of reminds me of the video game. You know, there have been video games which have been designed and they're generative, procedurally generated, so that they can be played for decades on end, or maybe even entire lifetimes.
Mm.
Which to
And
me seems like a virtual reality.
so, are you saying that the Gita has no absolute answer? It generates questions indefinitely. No, no.
I wasn't making that point, but it's an interesting point that you mentioned.
Or it generates like a fractal, like a, what's it? What's that thing that you look closer and it looks the same as far away?
Right?
Called?
Yeah, fractal chaos theory. Well,
Mm.
here's a section on the Wikipedia page of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 12. It's 4 lines. It says, knowledge is indeed better than practice. Meditation is superior to knowledge. Renunciation of the fruit of action is better than meditation. Peace immediately follows renunciation. So I think,
Now,
yeah, in a short way, I'll summarize this as saying that give up and you'll be at peace.
mm. What were the terms again? Knowledge, meditation,
Renunciation and peace.
and peace. So peace is the best one. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
yes, that's in the rejection and Shramanic non-action. It's in a sort of a tan colored box.
Hmm.
The textual significance section of the page.
There is the first chapter. They call it Arjuna Visada Yoga.
What
And
inspired you? Were you just curious to read it, or were you seeking answers when you picked up the book? What inspired
oh, one day I set out to write down my resolutions for the new year. That was last year. I didn't do that this year. I'm still working on last year's resolutions.
Okay, that's fine.
So one of the resolutions was to read a book of 100 verses. And so I said, oh, I could do one verse a day while I walk the dog. Mhm. And then I didn't get through all 100 verses. I started around February 23 or so, and maybe I got to April something. Maybe I got 30 some verses, and maybe it wasn't. After that, maybe I oh, they took the dog away. That's what it was. So I didn't have the dog to walk while I read. So what I would do is take pictures of the pages for the book, and then I could read them on my phone while I walked the dog. And sometimes I would run into the tree because I was looking at the phone too much, or I forget that the dog had made poopy, so I forget to pick him up. And then there's another book by the same author that is 700 pages long. It's on the same 100 verses. But each verse, instead of 2 or 3 pages of commentary, it's maybe 6, 7, or 8 pages of commentary. So that makes the book a lot longer. So I said, oh, maybe I'll add that to my daily activity. But I only got around verses, around 50 something verses. But and then I gave up. But not
So
gave
what
up, but
that book is about? What's
yeah.
written in the book?
Oh, it's a course on how to know thyself.
Oh,
Hmm.
like Socrates?
From Advaita Vedanta.
Wait,
Oh,
Vedanta.
maybe it was written in 18.
Go number 2.
Written
Okay.
in 1870 something, and then it was translated by the same author of this. Well, just the same commentator of this Gita, and saying, oh, in this Gita, I had bought the previous version many years ago, and I was reading it and said, oh, they have a newer version. Oh, so I got the newer version.
Oh, one of my dogs wants in.
And then I told a friend that I'm studying the 100 verses. It's called 100 Verses of Self-Instruction. Oh, wonderful. There's this class, or there's this lady is it Seattle? No, in California, that is offering that class, or that offers it. And so I signed up, and so every Friday at 1:30 my time, PM, I listened to her read from the 100 verses, including the commentary.
That's the
Then
verses of the what?
100 verses of self-instruction.
All right. And who's reading that?
And the lady that's reading it is a nice lady by the name of Gayatri Narayanan.
And who was the original author?
She studied IT and worked in the IT field for 12 years, and in the hospital IT area. And then she retired from that to dedicate to, I don't know if she's doing it full time. Maybe she can, to studying and teaching about what they call maybe Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the Brahman, of the absolute. Haha.
And what is
So-
one takeaway that you have received from having listening to this?
Oh, wow. Mm, mm. One takeaway. Wow.
Anyone?
One. Mm, mm. I can't find a one.
Okay.
I think
Maybe one.
by looking at the first 8 or so verses, I see. I was studying them on my own. I got to verse 50 something with commentary, but now I'm on Zoom, listening to her read it, and so now I'm back to the first few verses. So the first 8 or so verses, I get the impression that the master, the guru, is moving us away from the mundane towards the spiritual. And then there's a suggestion that if we come, if we somehow merge with the absolute, then everything will be all right. Something like that. Hmm.
Which is a classic Hindu idea.
Hmm? It's what?
The
Oh.
idea of merging with the absolute, everything being all right, that's a classic Hindu idea. The idea of
Mm.
abandoning Atman for Brahma,
Mm.
like the river that meets the ocean.
Oh yes. Oh, and then at the beginning of such book, there's a story, or no, there's a dialogue that goes something like this. So what is Advaita?
Dvaita.
And Advaita, and it's instead of saying the definition, or what's the big deal of Advaita? And it's like this. The teacher explains, you could say, and it's like so. So you have the ocean and you have the waves. So what is the difference between the ocean and the waves? Mm, uh, Nothing. So there it is. That's Advaita. It's realizing that you're seeing or maybe understanding, or at least understanding that you're seeing what you're seeing is all one. So it's all one, not non-dual. So Dvaita is dual, and Advaita is non-dual. So that maybe there's some Hindu philosophies that are dual.
Okay.
And then there's Advaita is non-dual, and that's the Hinduism that most people in the Americas and in the West are more familiar with because of Swami Vivekananda, who came to Chicago for a kind of a expo, a world thing for religions, and he started off with his talk. He snuck in and gave his presentation of Hinduism, and he said to the people, "Sisters and brothers of America," and he went on to expound on Hinduism.
Do you know what year that was? Or era?
Maybe it was in the late 1800s. 18.
When I think of that question, My mind defaulted with the British analytical tradition of philosophy. The difference between an ocean and a wave is I see the wave as an attribute of an ocean. Well, rather an attribute of the interaction of the three systems, at least. The ocean of atmosphere, what we formerly refer to as the troposphere, which is all the air above the ocean and going out into until you reach stratosphere where it's not enough oxygen to sustain life. So it's the atmosphere or the ocean of atmosphere that exists on top of the ocean. There's the liquid ocean.
Mhm.
It's the wind patterns and also the interaction that comes by way of the sun, doing things like evaporating the ocean, and also that process, the complex interaction between sun and water and atmosphere, producing that attribute of the wave interface of where the liquid and the water come into play with one another, and then also the gravitational forces of the moon and the earth and how that produces our tidal effects, and also the system of the other large planets can also contribute to the tidal effects. So those are all the places that my mind happens to default to going to when I hear a question like, "What is the difference between the the ocean and the wave?" What your fellow is trying to describe is it's not that any of these things are separate, but that they are all one and the same. So um, that's kind of analogous to the idea of we can think of ourselves as having five senses, but really there have been described in literature over 20 senses. For instance, the sense that you get when you get on board an elevator and everything is the same because you're in a box and you're not, this is not a glass elevator, but one with non-transparent walls. But then you get the feeling in yourself that you can feel it, or the feeling of queasiness, or these can each be described as different senses. But then someone had made a point when we were doing an event that we hosted out of the Orange County Public Library, the Orlando Public Library, the main central branch, or the center of the place of the institution. Someone had made a point in the discussion there that, in a sense, there is but one sense, and it's our brain processing them all. So you could call this one sense input. um,
Mhm.
so I know it's late for you, Yoshi. You've been writing on hermeneutics. Is there anything that you'd like to comment?
It's a bit difficult to speak in English here.
I understand.
But anyway, yeah, そうですね。I wrote about Matsuo Basho, a Japanese poet,
Okay.
Japanese haiku poet. And in order to understand his haiku poems, we sometimes have to get out of the text to have a deeper understanding of his poems.
Mhm.
That's the basic idea of hermeneutics.
Hmm.
You once have to get out of the text to understand better.
You
You have
said you
to,
have to takest to understand better. Maybe I'm not hearing the word correct.
Oh yeah, in order to understand what he is saying in the text,
Oh, in the
once you have to get out of the text
you have
and
to text. Okay.
find some explanations
So
or look through the history of literature, and then
okay.
you go back to text and you have a better understanding of what he's trying to say.
The fellow sounds very postmodern.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
From what age does he come?
Well, uh, yeah, it began people when people began to think about reading the Bible,
Mhm.
but nowadays it's hermeneutics is used to read anything in general,
Right.
philosophy, literature, anything.
So you're author of the haiku.
Mhm.
How many haiku did you use as your sample?
Oh, I just pick up three
Three.
three
Okay,
hikes.
good, good. And
Yep.
approximately when were they written? Were they
Oh,
20th century, 21st, 19th?
oh, the
Or
hikes I dealt with was written in, I think it's in the Edo period in Japan, in 16th century, maybe.
16th century. Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
Yes.
And then what
And
were the topics? Was he writing about nature? Was he writing about government? Was he?
oh, he was traveling. Basho, the poet, was traveling all over Japan,
Hmm,
and he wrote hikes whenever he felt like writing.
Hmm.
The
nice,
scenery, the people, anything.
nice. Oh, now I want to dig in. I'm going to read your paper. I'm going to read the three haikus, and I'm going to start reading about the history of the author.
Yeah, it's Basho.
Basho with a V or a B?
B.
B. Basho. Okay.
Basho.
Hmm.
Would he have been?
Does
Mhm.
I don't know what role in 16th century Japan it played, but Shintoism is that Metsuo
Shinto.
Basho? Would that have played any had any influence on his thought in his thinking?
Oh, Japanese people usually don't make a difference between Shinto and Buddhism.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, he he has, yeah, Shinto and Buddhism both have influence on him,
Hmm.
but it's just kind of a tradition. So I don't think Japanese people thought deeply about the difference between religions.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, that's nice. It allows you to survey. It makes Japan very much almost entirely postmodern in that way because there's no judgment in terms of you just look for the good or whatever the quality is from wherever in the history of mankind.
Hmm.
Yeah, but Japanese people, I think Japanese people don't have much interest in Christianity.
Don't have very much interesting to say. Is that what you said?
Christianity.
Oh, don't have much interest in Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a smaller. Of course, the ones who would be into Christianity would have to be very into Christianity, right?
Right.
That would be Korea.
What
I
about
Yeah, I've heard that Korean people believe in Christianity. Some people, yeah.
More so.
maybe more
Mhm.
Catholicism in terms of that? It's the what 50.1%
Oh,
of the world that's Christians or Catholics.
There's a
mm,
in is it in Longwood or Altamonte Springs? There's mm, a church. What is it? I think it's a Jehovah Witness church, but it's for Koreans. It's all Korean.
Yeah, there's a few Korean churches. There's one on Bumby Avenue, and then there's another one that is on Pershing Avenue, closer to Goldenrod than to Cimarron. And the founder is from South Korea. He's maybe like 80 or 90 years old now. I think they're Presbyterian. It's called Green Hill, and they hold services both in Korean and in English, depending upon the hour in the morning.
There's a there's a Buddhist teacher at the Guangming Temple or that she teaches now on Zoom. But she's originally, I'm not sure what church, but it's in Winter Park because I've gone to it and I saw her there one time, maybe 10 or 15 years ago.
Was it? It was perhaps First Congregational Church of Winter Park.
And I think it's yes, it's near Park Avenue, kind of a little bit away from it, and it's pretty big. And
Multi
they do
stories.
they enjoy singing a lot or they enjoy choir doing things. I don't know. Is it Presbyterian? Well, it might be congregational.
Yeah.
And she's listed in the website as yes, she teaches there, and
Okay.
she's
I'll be right
stud,
back.
she's been studying Hinduism. Or
Yeah. One of the pastors who was part of the United Church of Christ, which tends to be a liberal denomination, she studied Reiki. So when she was not pastoring, she was doing Reiki, energy healing.
Oh, Reiki.
Reiki. Is that Japanese language? Reiki?
Yes, Reiki is like chi energy. Chi is in Japanese is ki, and
Yeah,
Reiki
keep. Hi.
is passing your hands over. It's like massage without touching. Energy. Wow, maybe I should do that on my mother. Reiki. Let's see. Let's see. Her name is Sherry
So is the idea of Reiki popular?
in the mood, and it's popular.
Reiki?
It's pretty popular in the United States.
Oh,
They're
really? Yo.
they get certified in it and take classes and to learn it. Hmm. 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 Oh. Oh. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, student success. Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Yes. Oh, yeah.
I
Yes.
think
Her the lady that the lady that teaches on Zoom on Thursdays. Well, no, 2 Thursdays of the month, first and third, I guess. Yeah, she's she mentioned that she was going to take an online course to get a master's in Buddhist philosophy from Australia, or Wales or something like that.
so will that qualify her for flipping veggie burgers?
Mm-hmm. Dr. Sherry Lindamood is a mentor to hundreds of Lake Tech students each year. Oh, she kind of lives over in Mount Dora kind of way, kind of far away. So she has a long way to drive to get to Guanming Temple, the Chinese temple on Huffner. But I guess she doesn't have to do that anymore. So she does Zooms twice a month.
Mm.
Hmm.
Does she take donations?
But
You have to make it sustainable. No, you don't have to if you're already infinitely wealthy.
Yes.
Have you been in contact with who? The person who you used to rent the room from, who's named after the consort of Vishnu. What is her name? Durga?
Oh, Durga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One moment.
I haven't been in contact with her except occasionally replying to her or responding to her Facebook writings.
So Hiro, why did you decide to learn Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita.
Why are you learning that?
Why am I learning that? I don't know. I've had I've had several Bhagavad Gitas, and this one by Nitya Chaitanya Yati. I'm familiar with. Mm, is a guru that taught or that came to United States and offered like yeah, the 100 verses of self-instruction, but he also offered teaching the Bhagavad Gita at a college and at a church somewhere in Portland or somewhere around there. And then he decided to write his own commentary on the Gita. And then his students decided to write their own commentary. And one of them post his commentary on a blog. A guy named Scott Tateworth or something like that. And
That was sad.
Oh no, what's happened to
I don't know. What do you think has happened to his head?
oh, and
I don't know.
I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita with Scott Tateworth in is in Portland, Oregon, maybe,
Oh.
maybe not. I'm not sure anymore. Maybe Nancy lives there. So I got two people. And,
Another side.
so I'm taking 2 classes over email.
Another side.
Okay, so are
No.
so you're doing the self program 100 verses in self programming, and you're studying the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, I'm on chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, and I
Right.
get my homework today, or maybe it's tomorrow. Let's check my email. I always end up doing the homework on the day that it's due.
Right. Good. Good.
Hey, wait.
You're working bees, steadfast, and
Yeah.
faithful to the assignments or the work being assigned.
And, I'm not sure which one is harder, the Bhagavad Gita or the 100 verses of self-instruction. Both are commentated by Nitya Chaitanya Yati.
A lot
I
of
think
vocabulary.
I think he
What
passed
is the
away.
language that it's originally written in? Is it in Hindi or Pashto?
Mm. The actual Gita
Yes.
was written, developed, or and memorized in Sanskrit, but it's translated to Hindi. When it's translated into Hindi, I noticed that it's a little bit longer. They use the same script, but, and maybe similar words. Maybe 80% of Hindi is Sanskrit words, but I guess it's as different as Latin. No, as Italian is to Latin. So maybe Hindi is like that, like Italian is to Latin, and so Sanskrit would be the ancient language that is kind of frozen. They kind of decided, oh well, the Sanskrit script is very phonetic, so it's frozen. So everyone should be able to pronounce it the same way everywhere. And
Has that worked out?
so it theoretically should.
Theoretically, in application, in practice.
People parts of India might probably pronounce their Sanskrit a little bit different with a different Sanskrit accent. I imagine. Because I was listening to a podcast on the Sanskrit podcast or something like that, where experts talk about it. Like professors or scholars on Sanskrit. They have.
Is the Sanskrit still spoken?
Oh, that's interesting. There's one professor or American professor that went to India in search of villages that still speak Sanskrit. And he actually went to India, and I guess he was sent there by the college or university he was under. So he sent to India in search. And it was quite an adventure. And he found a few places. He bragged that they all speak Sanskrit.
Oh.
and he studies Sanskrit to the point that he can speak it pretty fluently. So when he went to speak with the actual people that say that they speak Sanskrit, that they brag that they speak Sanskrit, then he noticed that it's hard to find people that really actually spoke Sanskrit. That he was kind of a little bit disappointed, but they like to say that for Hindu pride that they're one of the few places that they speak Sanskrit, and maybe and that would mean that they would have to be born in the family, and the mother would speak Sanskrit to them, and so maybe
Yeah.
they maybe messed up Sanskrit or something. I guess
It's,
he managed to find a
well,
few people.
over 1.4 billion people in India, you would think at least a few thousand could be found in pockets here and there.
So he wrote a book on it, The Adventures of Finding a Village That Spoke All Sanskrit. So maybe Sanskrit is pretty dead, but still very active in what is it, scholarly, academic situations.
Oh, one of the fascinating things about our species is that there are people living in every age of our species concurrently. So there are still Stone Age peoples. There are still various tribal peoples. There are people primarily living in the modern age, probably primarily located in places such as China, and then people more so in the postmodern age, more like United States, and that becomes outside of it. Within the countries, you have people who are both modern and postmodern, and then who like to dress up in weekends in pre-modern garb and speak in Elizabethan Shakespearean English.
Get out.
Just a case in point.
Get out.
Hmm.
Get out.
There's
Get
the
out.
football. There's the football, Nerf football that we got.
Oh, there's a Hindu temple in Orlando. I used to go. Maybe I should go tomorrow.
Hindu temple.
Get away. And they would teach the Bhagavad Gita like a class, and it was always full. This one lady would read it, comment it, and people, everybody was sitting on the floor, and she would read out and commentate, maybe have a Q&A on
Get
it.
out.
9 a.m. Sunday mornings. I went to it. They were pretty good. Yeah, the Hindu temple, that's on in Winter Springs, is it? Yeah, something like that. Lake something. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
There's another one on the Kamakatri Road. There's a one up in the sort of western what is it called? Latvia, you know the Latvia area? Western Oviedo?
In Europe?
In Tuscaloosa. Off of Tuscaloosa itself.
Oh,
There are a lot of Hindus in Central Florida.
oh, there's a. Yeah, I was watching. Watching a YouTube channel. Yeah, I was look for YouTube channels on Sanskrit. So see if I could learn Sanskrit. I was watching one. What is interesting that they had a person that's very good in Sanskrit, and a person from a certain country in Europe. They went to different countries, and they gave phrases in Sanskrit and phrases in their language. Oh, they gave the Sanskrit phrases to the person who knows this European language, and see if they could guess what they were saying. And so they did it for countries like, Lithuania, maybe Norway, and Finland, and maybe Hungary, and different areas all over Europe, and to see if they could recognize what was said in Sanskrit, and if the person that knows Sanskrit could recognize what the person, the same phrases saying the same thing in the European language, and they could often guess what was being said. There were simple phrases, but they could oftentimes figure it out, and they could compare notes and think, oh, okay, that grammar is very similar to our language, and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting because there's this connection. Maybe So what could have happened is a branch that went to Europe and another branch went to India or something like that. The Indo-European languages, they have a root.
Yeah, from context and idioms are the most difficult though. Idioms, the phrases of speech that have a specific context where if you don't understand the historical origin of that phrase, you don't understand the nature of the phrase. You don't understand what's being communicated. It's the most difficult part in translation because it's not just something that's being communicated that requires a knowledge of the language, but it also requires knowledge of a specific event and a specific culture and a specific time.
Idioms. Idioms are difficult. Mm-hmm.
Figures of speech.
Yes, it's amazing that Hiroshi knows
Yep.
English so well.
Well, I don't speak Sanskrit.
It's amazing.
You watch movies in English.
Yeah.
That's where you would
That's how you learn English, by listening to movies.
Movies,
One
I
way.
mean, English lectures.
Yeah.
English lectures.
Yeah.
Immersion, basically.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
One of the interesting studies I did with a friend through email recently, the word baptism comes from, I was told it was Greek, it sounds more Latin to me, word baptismo, which in the original language means
Right.
like the full dunking, the full inundation into under the water and then back up again.
Okay.
Okay. And my friend, he was surprised that the Baptists don't fight harder to make that clear. But when you see a Baptist church, I think it makes sense now. Whenever, like for instance, our closest church here is called Victory Baptist Church. But if I replace the word Baptist with immersive, it takes on a deeper, richer meaning. Victory Immersive Church, and it is very much that.
Yes, I don't know what's happened to his head. Yes, I don't know what's happened to his head.
All right, I'll play it on for a moment. Ezekiel, oh no, what has happened to his head?
Ezekiel, oh no, what's happened to his head?
Ezekiel, oh no, what has happened to his head?
Oh no, what's happened to his head?
What has happened?
What has happened to his head?
Okay. Okay.
Let's get end this place that is coming.
This is what it's all about. He just wants a bunch of plastic. Yeah, no matter how many times we reassure you it's coming, he wants to reinforce the idea that it's coming.
Let's get end this present is coming.
Yes, when?
And when I burn it,
That's right. In 1 month. That's right. Good job. That's right. Yes.
it's coming.
Now he's adding additional toys that he wants for his birthday.
This flash JJ is coming.
For me. Oops.
Oops. Fall down. Oops, they fall down.
Oh, really? Don't worry, Troy. I'll give you some. There you go. Enjoy. All of our dogs are fat because we feed them our food. How's Maya? Pyro. Oh, he's on mute.
Okay.
That's their dog that they have at the house. So let me see. So why did you want to teach English? Or why did you want to teach in general? I guess you have the teacher's heart. It must be part of your nature.
What do I
Other than
teach?
English, yes, yes. Other than
Oh,
English, what subjects have you been teaching?
Philosophy.
Philosophy, English and
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yep.
Of course, you study a lot of the Western philosophers.
Mhm.
How about Eastern philosophers?
Yes, just introduction, but I teach Western and Eastern philosophers like
Okay.
Confucius, Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu,
Mhm.
and all the people who came in each one of those schools.
Yep.
After.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So I like to compare philosophy in West and in East.
Sorry.
Mama, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happened to his head.
Do me a favor, put this in the sink, kitchen sink.
He'll say, oh,
You've asked me to say, oh no, what has happened to his head?
to his head.
You say, oh no, what has happened to his head?
You say, no, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to go there, but thank you for taking the spoon. All right. And you're done. You finished the lunch that we had together. I'm glad you got to enjoy some of that, Yoda. So, just philosophy and English or any other interests?
Oh, and I study just for myself. I study literature.
I'm sorry, the last word you said? You
It's
study-
literature, novels and poems. Literature.
I'm sorry, he's not going to allow me to listen any further, so I think I'm going to have to step out. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to go work with him now, helping him learn how to relax and take it easy, especially for the rest of today, since it is now approaching noontime here Saturday and 2 a.m. for you. I wish you all a very good week and hope to see you again maybe next
See you.
week.
Yep. See you.
Oh, that's wonderful. We got to talk to Hiroshi and
Mhm.
Rami,
Yep.
and we learned about hermeneutics
Hermeneutics. Yep.
and Basho. And you look at Basho's haiku and or hikes. Three of Basho's hikes.
Yeah.
Oh, and
So
you're
how do you
going.
speak? How do you speak Spanish, right?
Hablo español también.
Oh,
Podemos practicar el español.
oh. So do you know kaki? Apple-like food, kaki?
No,
No.
kaki. Food made from apples.
Yeah,
Oh,
apple-like food. It's a kind of fruit that looks like an apple.
mm.
Spanish
Oh,
kaki, I think.
mm. How do you spell it?
Caqui.
Oh,
I think it's Spanish. And in Japanese, we pronounce the same way, kaki.
oh, wow.
So that's a coincidence.
Persimmon is a fruit that looks like a
It looks like
tomato
a tomato or apple.
or apple. Very
Looks like
sweet.
that. Yep, kaki.
Mm. Oh, wow. I didn't know it's called kaki. I've heard it in English as persimmon.
Rosima?
And
Oh,
maybe
I don't know that.
maybe I have eaten it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
Mm.
Maybe I don't buy it too often, or someone gave it to me to eat. Yes. Hmm. Do you like
Mhm.
kaki?
Well, yeah, I like it. Sometimes
Mm.
I eat it.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh,
So you play the
yes,
guitar?
yes.
Oh,
Uh, Here's the guitar. Can you see it? Oh, do I have? Oh, I have the the thing on. Yes, I had I changed the guitar strings,
yeah.
and I broke one string. Hmm.
Mm. So you play the guitar?
Yes.
Oh, that's very good. That's cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
I I I I took the old strings off and I put new strings. The
No.
strings broke, and I
Mm.
found another string to replace it.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Mhm.
string broke.
Oh,
This broke,
it's
Uh,
broken. Yeah.
and I found string for it, but
Mhm.
now I can't find it again. I lost it and I found it. Now I lost it again. It's
Oh,
so thin.
yeah, very thin.
Kind wound, and
Mhm.
its color is white or silver.
Mhm.
You say, how do you remove? I don't know how to remove the. Oh, maybe it's over here. Let's see if I can. No. Oh, I don't know how to use Zoom anymore. Let's see. Share, record, caption, more. Hmm.
Oh, it's
Focus.
2 o'clock in the morning in Japan. So now I
None.
have to go to bed.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
so see
Thank
you
you
next.
for listening.
Yeah, thank you. So see you next.
So
See you next week.
come back again.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a
Good.
good sleep,
Good
sweet
night.
dream.
Mm,
Good
thank you.
night.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Wow, that was nice. Hiroshi visited. And I'm going to say goodbye because I have to help take care of my mother.